What's up? This is Chris, the Stat Guy, and welcome to the Stat Guy Show. What is up? Welcome to the Stat Guy Show, episode number 79. Joining me tonight is a second-year driver in speed promotions racing and the youngest in the class, Mr. Cole Pesz. How you doing, man?
What's up, bro? How are you? I'm doing great.
Good.
Doing great.
Hey, man, I'm glad we finally got to hook up. It's been a while. I know I've talked to you about coming on the show, and I've been busy. I'm sorry about that. But tonight we got the time, we got the free time to do it. So I appreciate you coming on, man.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. No, I'm excited, dude. I know you texted me in like September, and I texted me on Facebook. I didn't see it, so we finally got linked up, and I'm stoked, bro. I'm stoked. I appreciate it very much. So
Awesome. So for those that don't know Cole, let's give a little background. What kind of race you did before
honestly,
speed promotions?
a lot of people assume because of my last name that I've been driving pro mods my whole life. Actually, I started driving Eleanor, and that was the first pro mod I ever consistently drove. You know, I owned my own car. I built with my buddies. Bought that car for a lot of people don't know this. I bought that car for $10,000. My dad got in a really bad crash in Gainesville. Went out and bought that car when I was 19 years old for $10,000. Had $100 left to my name. Worked for my ass off for 2.5 years and put it all together by myself with my, some of my close friends. Went out there and ran that, but it was never, I learned one thing: pro mod is expensive, especially when you have to maintain them. So Cole realized real quick that he's balling in a big ocean of money that he don't have, at 19 years old. So like obviously then go into speed promotions. I worked for Chuck 55 in season 6. Kind of came into it. I was just a hustler, just hustling, working, grinding. Me and my father owned a company called PJS Racing Engines. He bought a couple motors from us. Quickly people start paying attention. Chuck went from I want to say number 40-ish like the year before to number 10.
Yeah.
Right off the road, we went to the grade A. People paid attention. One of them was Cody Sanders. He owned another car on Street Halls previously. Called me and said, "Hey man, I'm going to build an Eleanor. I'm thinking about going with your power plant." We went and had some dinner, and I think what Cody's always respected about me and what I love about Cody is that we know where we stand with each other. One thing you'll learn about me is I'm a very honest person. I can't lie. If you paid me, I would have snitched on myself 5 seconds later. So he came to me and I really don't have much to offer him, to be honest with you. I never tried to sell him a bunch of shit that I couldn't make happen, and after that, he called me probably 2 months later and was like, "You're the guy, you're the guy for the job." So huge blessing from him and his family, Cody Cow Company, to go out of their way and give me an opportunity to be a street outlaw. Honestly, it's never something I thought I was going to be. Go out there though, and I come from pro mod. My father's Brandon Pesz, legendary pro mod racer out of Texas. So that's basically what I've done my whole life, is work on pro mod cars.
So nice. So you mentioned the car Eleanor that you drive in speed. Did Cody have that car built before he put you in it, or how did that work out?
So really, he was trying to decide. He had a couple different options as drivers, and some of them are already on Street All. Some of them are top 10. A lot of people were contacting him about it. They knew what he was trying to accomplish. And honestly, they had way more to offer than me. The reason why he went with me, like I said, I think it's because he knows that I'm going to shoot him straight the whole time. I'm not here to blow smoke up his ass. I don't mean that towards anybody that was talking to him before. I'm just saying that, I'm not like every other 24-year-old. I see the opportunity or whatever, but I'm also I'm going to be me. Whether that means I get it or not or whatever. I believe God has a plan for everything. So I went in that meeting open-minded and came out on top. But he was getting a car built by Larry Jeffers Race Cars. About 3 months in, he had to decide a driver because they needed to get a cage built around the seat and kind of figure out who was going to drive it. And I've known Larry my whole life, and I went in there and he's like, "You motherfucker," you know what I mean? He's like, "That's crazy," because I've known him since I was 10. He's like,
"Yeah,
how the hell did you pull?" I'm like, "Bro, God is good." You know what I mean? Like, I don't know either. I couldn't tell you, man. greatest day of my life, to be honest with you, was going to get fitted in that car. So got the
Yeah, I
opportunity.
bet.
It was the most gangster shit that anyone's ever done for me, for sure. So
That's awesome, man. So you guys obviously have a good relationship. So and
100%.
how's that relationship been? Now you guys have been racing together for a year and a half, I'd say. Or no, I
Yeah, I
should
mean,
say half a year and now the start of this year. So how's that relationship still?
honestly, me and Cody's relationship, he's like family to me. I would take my shirt off my back for him. He does that for me. He's like I said, he gave a kid a chance. You know, that's all you can ask for in life is a chance, and it's up to you to make the most of it. And you know, Cody's somebody too that deserves a chance. You know, to be talked about, to be praised. You know, I'm not getting into all of it, but he didn't get the most exposure or stuff like he wanted to. You know, that's what he wanted. It's what he wanted out of it with his other deals he had. And
Yeah.
you know, street outlaws can get to some people. I don't know the whole deal, but it can get to some people and kind of change them, you know. But I think one thing he understood with me is it's just not going to do that. I'm not in it for the fame. I think if people get to know me for me, I think
Hmm.
probably will get pretty popular just because I'm you know I'm a little bit of everything. Firecracker. Sometimes I'm you know super quiet and respectful. You know I can kind of balance all of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm a little bit of a firecracker, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like to light a little fire and watch that motherfucker burn. So,
Yeah.
um, and
Nothing wrong with
going
that.
so hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Yeah. So Eleanor has the best of the best stuff in it. Obviously, it's powered by PJS Racing. It's screw blown. What else about the car? Is there anything that people might not know about the car?
It's the fastest car in MPK, if you didn't know. But no, Eleanor is a screw blown 1967 Mustang built by Larry Jeffers. Car's super light. We built it for everything possible. You know what I'm saying? Some garage race, small tire. Thank God Street Outlaws is having that this year. It's going to be exciting. Um,
Yes.
It's got a Liberty 5-speed in it, but it's set up for 3 right now. Quick drive, one of our great partners, all Stroud safety everywhere. The best of the best in the whole car. You know, we got quick performance on board with all the rear end stuff. We've had a lot of people come into it, see the car, and realize the marketing opportunities with it, and they get to talk to me, and I'm like, you know, either you can work with me or somebody else is going to work with me. So
Right.
let's make it happen. You know what I'm saying? Because that kind of car, I promise you want your name on it. So
Yeah.
but yeah,
Yeah. It's a slick car, man. For sure.
it's
It's cool as hell.
thank you. I appreciate that.
So working with your dad and do every day at PJS Racing, what are your days look like as a youngster
I,
at PJS
one of
Racing?
the one of the best things about my job is you never know what's going to happen. So I could wake up one morning and be working on a turbo car. I could wake up one morning and be working on a Pro Charger. I could be I've been cutting trees down for my mom. That's been an experience of its own. I almost died the other
Nice.
day, but we'll just leave it at that. I didn't realize like when you tie a rope to a tree and you throw that sucker up there and then you know put it in between a branch. I took a piece of alter, I tied a rope, threw it in between a branch, pulled it with a pickup truck. Had a lot of tension on it. I did a little pie cut thingy, and when I tried to cut it, I didn't realize it was going to kick out. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
your boy almost got nuked by a tree. So we've been chopping trees in real life and on the property around PJS
Ah, there
Racing.
you go. I like
And
that.
if you ever need a tree chopped down, I almost stuttered there. Say that 10 times over. I got you covered on the
Yeah.
racetrack or at PJS.
That should be your marketing going forward.
Yeah, I got you.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah.
So obviously you do a lot with your dad with racing wise. There's other father son duos in drag racing, but how cool is it to do all this with your dad?
That's been my dream my whole life. You know, I talk very highly of my dad. I have a lot of respect for my dad. My dad has always been somebody that's kind of been overlooked, in my opinion, a lot of the time. You know, and I think you know the bigger guys like I knew Murder Nova beforehand. He actually was going to drive one of our cars at an NHRA Dallas race. We actually had all that lined out. I have a picture of it for proof, but like he stood in front of one of our Imperial construction cars at the time, and we had him lined up to drive it. We are going to do a big marketing thing for PJS, and it just didn't work out with the scheduling, you know, but shit like that. But you know, he like Sean knew when we came in, people were always questioning why Chuck got drafted number 10. They
Hmm.
realized real quick why when they saw Brandon Pez behind that car, you know, and I
Yeah.
idolize that, you know what I mean? I think when they see him, they know what's coming and they start to realize that, you know, this is pro mods now. These are full blown steel roof and
Yeah.
body pro mod cars running on no prep. And it
Yep.
is the sketchiest shit ever. But it is the most gangster shit I've ever done in my entire life. So
Yeah. Nice.
it's badass.
So
But yeah,
so PJS Racing Motor was in first in the No Prep King series in Chuck 55's car, correct?
yes, sir. Yep.
And then you saw Jim Howe have it last year, correct?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I
Yep.
mean, you had, like you said, Chuck 55 really jumped up quick in season 6. He went to a finals, I believe. Yeah, he went to a finals and lost to Lizzie in a finals,
Yep.
which
In
was
Denver.
kind of night and day for Chuck, honestly. And I know he never did it like full time every race, but you could
Yeah.
see like he was fast, man. He was really fast in season 6. Obviously, Jim Howe last year extremely fast. With
Yeah. I
that
mean,
motor
honestly, I
too.
think
You know
Jim
what I mean?
Howe,
So
he had a
it's a
good
good
chance to
look.
win
It's
a
a good
championship.
sign for you guys.
Yeah. I appreciate that. No, man, it's a huge blessing. Everyone Street Outlaws, they saw what Dad can do, and I think there'll be a few more. I really do. I think as I continue to grow this deal here, get a full season in there. What's up? Get a full season in there. We'll be a contender. I mean, I already am a contender. Got a little lucky the first race. Had a couple of deals, first round, second round, but you know what? I'm gonna take the wins and keep moving forward and keep racking up points and just trying to. We only got 7 races. You can't afford a bad race this season. So
Right, for sure. We'll get into all that. First, I want to touch a little bit on last season, your first season in. It was called No Prep Gangs last year. So your first race was at Washington, I believe.
yes, sir.
Um, so you came out of the gate strong. So I believe you only raced 4 races. That was the last 4 races of the regular season, as they call it. You earned 57 points. So you end up actually just outside, about 30 points just outside the No Prep Elite, which was the playoffs. When you knew going in, you probably realistically weren't going to have a chance at that. I don't even know if they announced that at that time or not. But what was your goal joining in that such late in the season? Just go out there and see if you can hang with the guys, or what?
Honestly, a lot of people don't even know the full story. And I got out there. Literally, we built the whole car. It got done 2 weeks before the first test session, which was 3 weeks from Washington. At that time, I may have had 20 runs under my belt in an actual pro mod car. I never made it to the finish line at threes. And I'm going to tell the full story, and this might get some people in trouble. It might not. It might get me in trouble, which probably will. But I go out there and Cody, I've been struggling a little, honestly, with confidence. These cars are extremely intimidating, and you got the last name Pez, you need to perform. I mean, that's how people are in Texas. They see that last name and they're like, he's going to be a badass. But when you're struggling, you know, it's a little bit
Yeah,
different. So we go out to XRP though the weekend before with Eleanor. I had never been threes. First pass I ever made in that car. Cody leans in the door right before we go, and he goes, "It's time to nut up or shut up," something along the lines of that. And I was like, "All right, cool." So we go the whole way, 381, 199, and then we win again, 378, 200 mile an hour, first 200 mile an hour pass. He looks at me, he goes, "We're good." We go 30 hours one way to Washington, and Saturday, I'm running Kai Kelly second round, and we're doing a 2-minute burn down. I'm sitting there like a little kid in a candy store going, what the fuck happened? Where did I come from, number one, and why am I burning Kai Kelly down for 2 minutes? You know what I'm saying? Like, what?
yeah,
I don't know. It was a huge blessing, honestly. It was one of my favorite trips I'll ever remember for the rest of my life. I remember the whole time driving there, I had the feeling of I'm doing this for me now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been to so many places, traveled so far, so many times, I've done this my whole life, but I've never done it for me. I've never
yeah.
had my name on that door. And all I ever thought about going into that race was, world domination, number one. But number two was making Cody proud and showing him that he gave the right person a chance. And that's
Right.
what I did. So,
That's awesome. Yeah, man.
but
That's a lot on your shoulders right away. That's
it was
that's
a
a
lot.
lot. But I'm glad it worked out for sure. So no, like I said, No Prep Elite was the final playoffs of the season. You didn't qualify for it. But the talks amongst everybody, fans, other drivers, people I talked to, including myself, was like if Cole had started at the beginning of the season, there's no doubt he would have been in the No Prep Elite. Like no doubt, you had one of the fastest cars there. So hearing that and knowing that, like, how did it make you feel? Like, you got the end of the season, but you knew, like, hey, the only reason I'm not in it is because I started late.
Honestly, I went back and looked at the win percentage because I feel like that was the best way to show. Because I actually
Hmm.
watched your deal. Your deal, you do the
Nice,
most gangster shit ever. I don't know how you keep up with all these numbers and math. I ain't
appreciate
that
that.
fucking smart. I tried. I sat there and I'm like, one time I was like, stat guy's wrong, and I realized stat guy's always right. So just, you know what I'm saying?
Not
Um,
almost. Well, 99.9.
but I went on there, and I think at the time, I want to say, you might know, I think I had the seventh highest win percentage in the whole deal. I want to say I averaged like a 650 or something like that.
Yeah,
And
yeah, something like that.
me, I was like, if I could look at, I took that number, and the best way I could use that as an example, because I like to see how I did. I compare myself a lot to really great racers because I want to know how good I'm doing. When you're in
Hmm.
the moment, it's hard to tell. And I
Right.
try not to get caught up in that. So I went and looked, and I think at that time I would have been top 7 or 8 had I run the whole year. It's easy to say, hard to say.
Stuff can happen, right? But
If it's and buts were candy and nuts, we'd all have Merry Christmas. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at the same
that's it.
time,
Yeah,
it's like 4 races and we made the most of it. And got a
yeah,
phone call from Sam this year, and he said, "Bro, it's your time, son. Let's do this thing." I was
nice.
like, "Let's
Hell
go,
yeah,
baby. Let's go."
nice. Well, speaking of that, we just finished the first race of the season at Famoso. How was the weekend overall for you, and did you enjoy racing there?
I loved racing there because it was kind of like the track was. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. About 3:30, man, that thing was sliding, son. It was like racing on ice. I mean, it was cool, but it was like, all right, we're back in some gangster shit.
Yeah,
When the first couple pair go down in their 650 cars and they crash. We had a couple small crashes right off the rip. You're like, all right, well, I run 3 seconds faster than that, so don't do what he did 3 seconds ago. You know what I'm saying? But
yeah,
yeah, no, it was cool. Formoso was a really cool place. The people in Bakersfield were so cool, so polite. Everyone in California is so welcoming. At the airport, I flew on the plane with Ryan Martin in first class, bougie, and Caleb Morton was sitting right next to me. And like as soon as we get on, me and her are talking to everybody on the planes. And we're like, I'm like, I told everybody, hey, I know Kayla was like, damn it, Cole, because I'm like, yeah, she's famous. She's famous. So now everybody, who are you? Who are you? And then I'm like, they're like, hey, is there any other racers? I was like the snitch. I'm like, hey, is there any other racers on the plane? I said, the goat's up first class. You see that big dude with the cut off sleeves? That's him right there. So everybody's
nice.
just wearing them out. I'm that guy, dude. But yeah, overall, Famoso was great. Everyone was super polite. Got off to a good start. Bowman first round gangster. I have a lot of respect for him. I've worked on several cars and ran him and lost to him several times, won several times. We always had good races. He
Hmm.
went red by a lot. I don't really know why. He just let go of the button. And honestly, at that point, I was like, test pass.
Yeah,
So Chevy's mom, dude, she's the best thing ever.
she really
Sweetheart love.
is.
Speed
Yeah.
Promotions. If you ever get rid of Chevy, I promise you I'm coming for you. I'm going to bring his mom to every race. She brought me maple syrup, coffee, candy, whiskey, gave me hot dogs and taquitos. Dude, she's awesome.
She's great. I know. She's the
She's awesome.
best. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, you talk about so Friday night was that new format this year called Beat the Champs. So
Yeah.
basically how it works is any big tire car can race in it, and you come straight off the trailer in like a qualifying round. And it does not the qualifying round does not include the champs, which the champs are Ryan Martin, Kai Kelly, uh, Mike
Sean,
Murillo, Birdman, and Sean. Yep, drawing a blank there. But so those
I
guys are
got
not included in the qualifier. They're automatically in the Beat the Champs, obviously, because they're the champs. Um, but so you won your first round of the qualifier against Bowman. But then how the format works is you still don't know if you're going to be in the bracket to race against the champs because then they take whoever's left and they draw chips. It just so happens that Murillo and Birdman were not there, so they drew 5 chips. You got one of the lucky chips, as we call it. So what do you think about that format? It's a different format than the other had. It's straight off the trailer.
off.
What are your thoughts about that on a Friday night? You know, if you haven't been testing at the track, which you can do now, but and I'm not sure if you did or not, but it's straight off the trailer, and you know what I mean.
It's
You draw someone
gangster.
like Mike Bowman. You know what I mean?
Dude, you get Mike Bowman, and you're like, okay, number one guy you don't want to get is that the guy at his home track because you're a
Right.
loser no matter what. Okay, because
Exactly.
everybody's here
Yeah.
to see this guy. But me and Mike, I literally called Mike like a week or two before the race because I'm a student of the game, and me and Cody were sitting there. We were drinking beer. We just got done working on Eleanor. We were over in Paris, and I'm like, bro, I don't know how this track is. I've never seen it. Is it sketchy? Is it not? Is it nice? So I'm like, he actually Cody said Mike Bo. So we called him like, hey Mike, I don't know. We're trying to do a little intel investigation, and he
Mhm.
let us know that he was going to test on Tuesday. I called him after the test and we talked forever. And then I said, we're probably going to draw each other first round. Boom. Right when we draw each other, man. He's like, come on, dude. I'm like, I know because I already knew he'd been testing. So I'm like,
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, honestly, I got gifted one on that one, to be honest. I mean, he just let go of the button too soon. And I got
Yeah.
lucky a lot this weekend. I'm not a guy that's ever going to sit there and be like, oh, I beat Kai Kelly because he didn't get a stage. I'm just not that guy. Uh,
Right.
I won the round, did what I had to do, won the round. And,
Yeah.
overall, it was a good weekend. It really was.
Yeah.
My
More
day.
times than not, Cole. I mean, you know this. Like to go 5 rounds on a Saturday and win, there has to be some luck in there at some point. You're not just
100%.
gonna go out and make the best make perfect passes every time and outrun everybody. That just doesn't happen. So
100%.
you need that luck
Totally.
a little bit. So the first round of the qualifier, you matched up with Chevy, who was a newcomer, young guy like yourself. So after
I got two
you
U
got
daddies.
you what?
I got two U daddies over Chevy
You
too.
did. Have you cashed in on
Yes,
any of them
sir.
yet?
No, I have not. I'm doing it next
Okay.
race. No, I'm playing. I can't tell him when I'm going to do it. I'm just going to do it. But
Okay.
Cody
Well, you
actually
did get
set
some
that
U
up.
daddies.
I got two U daddies, son. So
Nice.
just
Hell
Chevy.
yeah.
Chevy's mom, I love you. If he's watching, you know who your daddy is.
So you got past Chevy in the first round of the Beat the Champs, and then your next race was going to be against Scott Taylor in the semifinals. But as we know, Kayla had her accident. They stopped it for the night. The talk was maybe run it on Saturday night at the end, but that didn't happen. And now I'm hearing, and maybe you can confirm this, that they're going to maybe run it on Friday night at Virginia, or are we waiting
I'm
to
gonna
see
tell
on that?
you honest. I hope they do, just because it's my closest chance to race Kai as soon as possible. But I had to get through Scott. I'm not going to overlook Scott. But I hope they do because
Yeah,
I would like to race Kai as soon as possible for sure.
yeah,
So we'll see.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know, but we'll see.
Nice. Okay. So let's talk about the main event on Saturday. Saturday is a normal invitational, the normal 4 rounds, 5 rounds of racing this year. Normal points, nothing on Friday night affects Saturday. It's its own race all by itself. So you drew Bear in the first round. You drew season 6 champ Kai Kelly. And
The
I'll be
bear, the bear.
honest, I had texted Kai earlier today. I said, hey, Friday night, man, you weren't fooling anybody. I watched his pass. It happened to be against Kayla. But it was a fast pass. And I said, wow, if he can do that tomorrow, I don't know, man. You might win it all. But
Yeah,
so when he gets Kai in the first round. He obviously wasn't able to make the hit. I just saw today a video on Kai's Facebook or on Kai's YouTube um, saying you're on his shit list. Now I'm guessing this has to do with that pass. Do you want to talk about that pass? Is because you put him on the 2 minute clock? Is that what he's getting at?
yeah. I mean, look, I'm just going to give the full rundown. I like Kai. I have a lot of respect for Kai, and me and Kai were friends going into that. What we are now, I don't know. That's completely up to Kai. At the same time, I don't have any love lost for Kai on that whole deal if he's upset about it. He is upset. I understand completely. But at the same time, everyone that's been talking, do yourself a favor and think about $40,000 and then think about your best friend and tell me what you would do. Same time, go in there. I feel like I gave Kai plenty of time. I went back and looked earlier because I saw his video. I feel like his video really published a lot of nonsense, if I'm being honest with you. I think if you watch his video, he cut a lot of the important parts out where I did him a favor. I gave him 2 minutes and 37 seconds before I put him on the 2 minute clock. So we can have a debate about all we want. We can talk about all we want. Do I want to win that way? Fuck no. Would I run Kai tomorrow? Hell yes. Have I
Yep.
ever shied away from a race? No. If Kai, me and him got into it right after the viral Nate Saylor video of him and Nate arguing. He walked to the starting line, and I heard him talking about my team owner, just saying that Cody put him on 2 minute clock, which technically Cody was the one that did it because he's outside the car. And I confronted Kai about it. I told him, I said, look, dude, it was me. At the top end, I also said that I didn't want to do it. He referred to that. I didn't want to do it. If anything, I think I showed that. I have my crew guy, long hair. We got King Samson, the dog. It's the guy that owns King Samson. Have you ever seen the King
Yep.
Sam, the pretty
Yep.
cool? But Turbo ran over there and helped Kai start his car 3 times, and then a 4th time in the burnout box. And you can go back and watch it. I start my car and shut it off because I can tell he's having problems. I saw his front tire crack, started my shit up, and once that happens and I roll through that water box, I'm focused on my race. I'm not worried about what you're doing. I don't care. And pulled through, backed up. By the time I backed up, I start looking over and I'm like, either he did a really short burnout, which is Sky Kelly, so I know he didn't, or
Right.
or he's having trouble. And where's my crew guy? You know what I mean? He's not even in front of me. Well, he's helping Kai because, of course, like he knows how close we all are.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love
Yep.
sunshine. I got no beef with Kai, to be honest with you. But at the same time, it's like just because your name's Kai Kelly and you've been doing this for a while, I respect you, but I can't let you walk on me like that. And what ended up ultimately making me put him on that 2 minute clock is that I was sitting there running, and he does a long burnout. It's like it's common courtesy in racing, in my opinion, which I feel like I shouldn't have to tell Kai this. that if you go out there and you do a long burnout after I'm sitting there waiting on you, then it's like, fuck you. And that's how I took it. It was like a big fuck you. So I'll tell you right now, I told my crew as soon as he did that and his shit died, I turned my car off and I grabbed that button. I was so fucking mad at him. I yelled, put that motherfucker on 2-minute clock. It's exactly what I said. And I told him in person. He said, well, I back up 50 miles an hour. I'm like, Kai, I don't know that. Okay. I don't know that. So how do you want me to? He's like, well, my guys didn't know what to do. I'm like, I understand. Okay. It's racing. I know you drove, 30 hours to California. So did Cody and Turbo. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
how can I take Cody's $2 million investment in his program
Yeah.
and say, oh, sorry, because we're buddies, I can't, sorry, Cody, I'm gonna put all your shit on hold and your chance at making anything back at 40 grand for Kai. I can't do that. That's not how that works. So I have a lot of respect for him. If he thinks I'm shying away from a race with him, I know he's fucking with me because he knows how I am. So we can race whenever. I don't care. Yeah, I'll race him down a dirt road, my front yard, mopeds on feet. I don't care. Cole Pesz by 2 car lengths, just like I said on Upshift 360. Go watch it because I said that shit on there. I said Cole Pesz by 2 cars. Now it was Cole Pesz by the full track because he didn't get to make a run, but
Mhm.
it is what it is. So, and if he, we'll talk about it. I'm sure we'll talk about it. There was a lot of animosity there, honestly. And I'm releasing my own video on YouTube, just so everybody knows.
Mhm.
Cole Pesz Racing. Y'all go watch it. My buddy's helping me with it. American Speed Shops, Hunter. He's going to help me put the whole thing together, and we're going to show the truth, in my opinion. I think Kai's YouTube video was a little misleading. We'll leave it at that. So
Yeah, that's a tough call. I mean, until you're in that seat and that exact situation happens to you, that's a tough call to make, man. Like you said, like it's more than just your relationship with the other person in the other car. There's a lot more that goes into it. You know what I mean?
it was a
At the
situation.
time,
It
if
really
you
is.
right, and then let's just say, and then looking at it, what happens the opposite? You give Kai all the time he needs, and then he outruns you, and then Cody's like, "What the fuck?" You know what I mean? Like
Dude.
it just make at the end of the day, it's a tough call to make, bro,
And
and it is what it is, I
And
guess.
the thing is like it would have been different had his guys, which I'm not knocking putting in sunshine. I'm not. I got a lot of respect and they worked their ass off, just like my guy Turbo. They worked their ass off. We all respect each other. We're all friends. But at the same time, they got 3 guys. I needed one of them just to start communicating. That's all I needed. I needed something. And then we just see this long ass fucking obnoxious burnout, John Force type shit. It's like, what do you want me to do, bro? You know what I'm saying? So uh also, he didn't know what was wrong with the car. It would have been easier had he claims on his YouTube video that he knew what was wrong with the car, but I went and watched the live. Like Sean stumbled him a little bit because Sean's like, "Oh, so you knew it was wrong?" He didn't know what was wrong. Now, I mean, at the top end, there's video to show that. I don't know what Speed Promotion is going to put out, but I'm just saying. When I got out of the car, I walked up to him. I said, "Corrupt file," because I've been there. I knew something was going on, and he's
Mhm.
like, I don't know," and he said, you know, I think so, but you got what you wanted, and I'm like, oh fuck, here we go. Because I've seen I don't watch a whole lot of it, but I've heard, the Cry Kelly shit. I'm not gonna say all that because it's stupid, but I'm like, I pissed him off. It is what it is, but
Right.
move on.
At the end of the day, hopefully you guys can squash it, and
We
move
will.
on from it, or you guys just can become rivals and
We're
make for
gonna
good
race and we're
make
gonna
for
we're
good
gonna
make for good social media, I guess. Either way, man. Either way, I'm cool with it. Whatever you
hell
guys
yeah.
decide.
I think me and Kai got 2 fastest cars right now. I ain't gonna lie. And I think that's gonna be a hell of a drag race. I think you give me a good racetrack and we'll bet some money and we'll have some fun and may the best man win. But I want it today, tomorrow. Speed Promotions, if you're watching, just set that shit up and make it the main event because I'm gonna knock his ass out in front of everybody, and not
Well,
physically, I'm talking about on the racetrack. But
yeah, you could. I mean, it could happen. It could happen if they do the format.
I'm down.
Run the rest of the format. You got to get past Scott, which is no small task. But
Oh crap! No, Scott's on fire. He's
yeah.
killing it.
So after the first round against Kai, you had a second round bye because of the odd number count, the number of cars. And then you took on the guy who won that night, Nate Saylor. Talk about your pass against Nate in the third round, I guess it was.
Honestly, so I go up there, second round bye. Go up there and a lot of people heard it. Like the whole. I think I was waking up all the birds and all the shit outside that track, son. Went out there, broke the rear end. It was the whole way back. I think I lost a couple brain cells. Made the turn off. I didn't have many to begin with. Made the turn off. We get back, so we can only crawl at like 2 miles an hour to get back to the pit. We pull in, and I look at Cody, and I'm like, brother, you're gonna have to go do chip draw. This is not good. You know what I'm saying? He's
Yeah.
like, I got
Yeah.
you. So he goes up there and does it. Me and Turbo are back there. If you came by the pit, we
I
had
was I was watching, man. You guys were hustling for sure, man.
one thing we don't do is quit. You know what I'm saying? I pride
Yeah.
myself on that. So I'm looking at Turbo,
Yeah.
hey, and that heat, you know what was going on. That
Oh
heat was
yeah, it was hot.
intense.
Yeah.
I mean, I actually did. So once again, some stuff I probably shouldn't really say, but I push myself as hard as I possibly can. I will
Mhm.
not quit on myself. I will not quit on Cody. I will not quit on my team. I would rather die. I mean that wholeheartedly. I'm not that guy. I mean, this is what I do, and I'm very serious about it. I go over there, and I knew that the thrash was going to be insane. I'm not going to lie. We were all, none of us doubted it, but we knew it was going to be a tall task. And I'm not going to sit here and run off about Nate and run off about Chris and all those guys. You know, it's within the rules. I do feel in my heart, it's nothing against them really, but I do feel in my heart that they went up there a little early. They were trying to get that 2-minute clock going. I saw that. Hey, I strapped in on the Pro Jacks, put my helmet on, singed that shit up, and was putting a tune in while they were putting the back tires on and putting air in the tires. I was flying. Ended up getting up there with plenty of time to spare because Street Outlaws had to fix a camera. But I will tell you right now, if
Yeah.
anybody,
Dude.
no, dude, that it
Were
was
they
killing.
were they going to were they did you get any extra time because of the rear end or no?
About no, no. And to be honest
No?
with you, I mean, they didn't make that situation a whole lot better. I'm like, it was. I knew when I saw them pull out of the pit. Like I said, me and Nate talked about it. He says it wasn't intentional. I don't know. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. You know what I'm saying? It's part of the fucking
Mhm.
rules. It is what it is. Do what you
Yeah.
want to do. Doesn't matter to me. Um,
Right.
we asked them for a little bit of extra time. You know, Cody went over there and asked himself. I don't know the full extent. I think Chris told him. I got to talk to Nate. We'll see how it goes. And about that time, Cody rolls back up. Those motherfuckers. All right, we're making it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Right.
hey, I'm already
Time
like,
to
hell
time to
yeah.
go.
Now I'm fucking.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. Now you got me going. You know what I'm saying? Now it's time to like we're tightening shit with impacts. Okay, we got to go.
Yeah.
So, hey,
Yeah.
I took the drive shaft sensor out and threw that thing behind me. If you came by, I had about 4 gaskets. I couldn't figure out which one fit because I had to go from 11 to a 10-inch as well. So I got adapters going in this sucker. I got shit going everywhere. I got fucking buckets of metal I'm pouring out. I've never seen. I nuked it. When I say I nuked it, Kim Jong Un, bro. I freaking dropped a nuke right on top of that damn thing. I don't know what happened. I think it was the burnouts from last year. She was not happy. She was not happy. So.
Talk about
And
those
I'm,
8-mile burnouts. Yeah.
Bro, and then I come into this deal and I'm like, be conservative, be smart, don't tear shit up. And I go out
Yeah.
there doing short burnouts and I tear more shit up. So I think everybody in Virginia should be expecting long burnouts to come back because I tore up less shit when I did those. So,
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
but
Um.
yeah.
Yeah. So the race itself, you got everything together.
Oh, yeah, got it all
You
together.
know,
Went
got
up
it all
there.
together.
Did a cool burnout, backed up. I'm running Nate. Me and Nate have history like racing each other. He's beat me once. I may have beaten him once. I don't know for sure. He beat me in Vegas last year in the second chance final. It was a badass race. I know how fast Chris is and Nate and all their car. Like Gucci's a
Yeah.
badass car
Yeah.
back in the drove. That thing's gangster as fuck too.
Hmm.
So you got two of the prettiest cars in my opinion racing each other. We go up there and stage them suckers and left together, and it was a drag race, dude. I got over by
Yeah.
the wall. I ain't gonna lie to you. I got over by that wall, and I knew I was running Nate Saylor, and I was like, my foot. I pushed that sucker through the firewall, dude, and I could just see him barely pulling on me. I was slipping like hell out back, and I ain't gonna lie to you. I just made the wrong call on the tune. After I backed up from the burnout, you can see his team pull forward, and they're like waiting on us. I'm sitting there with my glove off, trying to put timing in this freaking ECU, and I'm trying because I know I don't have enough. I know I'm fucked. Like I knew when I saw the sun cover the track like that, the notes that I
Yeah.
took before the rear end deal was based upon 130-degree track temp. This was 101. I had one of my guys check, so I'm
Yeah.
like, we're fucked. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like if they're on their game, we're fucked right now.
Right.
It was a close ass race though. It really was.
Yeah.
It was close. It was a drag race, and to have a race with somebody like that who won, it shows where we're at. So I'm
Right.
excited that we get to showcase that at least. But
Yeah, man. I think with no prep racing in speed, like the third round is always that one round where you're like, I don't, because the sun is going down. Sometimes down. Sometimes it's still a little bright. You know what I mean? You never really know how the track is at that point. You know what I mean? It's tough. A third round call is tough. Tough to make.
It's
Tough
tough.
to make.
It's all tough, bro. First round
Yeah.
sucks, second round
Well,
sucks, third round sucks, fourth round
yeah,
sucks, and then when you
yeah.
get to the final, you're like $40,000, baby.
That day.
But I haven't been
Oh
there
yeah.
yet. So I'm
Yeah,
talking
yeah.
out of my ass. But yeah.
So you left Famoso tied with Disco Dean for fourth in points as of right now.
Boom.
They have unofficial points. I think I read the rules. I think that's what the points are for this year.
Hell yeah.
So we'll call you fourth in points. So are you happy with your performance this weekend, especially the first race of the year?
Yeah, honestly, I mean our goal is to win a championship. But top five is a big deal. Top five right off the rip. I've been through a lot of long seasons. This is going to be one of those deals where survival of the fittest. We're going to go into it. We're going to stay focused. Me and my team. Don't let my youth fool you. I've been a part of a lot of winning teams. I know how to win. At the same time, it's about being consistent. Being the fastest is cool and all. I definitely think I am the fastest, but at the same time, I had to be more consistent, and that showed last year a little bit. And that's what our model is going to be this year is consistency. We got to go into every race focused on going rounds. Getting the win,
Yep.
going rounds, and stay humble and stay focused. Don't let a top five first race just come in here and get you all jazzed up like you just got it made. You'll get humbled real quick. Kai Kelly, he's number I don't know right now, dead last. But at the same time, we all know who that is. You see that name down there, and you're like, okay, well, he's gonna come up. So
Yep. Yeah.
let's keep
Yeah. It comes
going
up
up.
like that all
You know what I
year.
mean?
Right. Yeah.
Stay away from his ass. You know what I mean? Stay the fuck away from me. But
Yeah.
anyway, so yeah.
Yeah. He's
But
definitely not going to stay at the bottom for long.
no,
So
I mean, you got Brian, Sean, Kai.
yeah.
There's several I saw that are like, what the
Yep.
hell? You know what I mean? What
Yep.
happened? And then
Right.
Chevy Reeves comes in, new kid. He's number 6. He won first round over I believe Bowman, but maybe Page. One I don't remember who it was,
I'd have to
um,
look. I don't know offhand.
but yeah, I
Um,
mean, new guys scored. This is one for the new guys. So let's
it
fucking do
was.
it.
It was a new guys race this weekend. Hell yeah.
Let's do it.
So the next race, let's talk about the next race. The next race on the docket is Virginia. That's in 2 weeks. You can get your tickets yet at thefote.com. If you haven't gotten your tickets, get it. I know there's a bunch of not new, but a bunch of drivers showing up that did not show up in California. I'm not going to say it's going to be a 32 car field, but I bet it's going to be a lot closer to that 32 than last weekend. So it should be a good race. What do we expect? Have you ever raced at Virginia? And what should we expect from Cole Pesz Racing at Virginia?
Man, never driven at Virginia. I've raced at Virginia. I was just there with one of my customers probably 3 weeks ago. That track's gangster. I know the Franklin family real well. They own that whole place, and they're badass people. They have a really nice facility. I went to the grade 8 with Chuck 55 in Virginia during season 6. Believe it or not, lost to Kai Kelly, second round of the grade 8. It's a great place, very fast track. If I can keep that car in one piece, I don't see anybody beating me. But I mean, we'll just have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how the track looks when we get there and adapt to the circumstances that are thrown our way. But at the same time, I don't see why Cole Pesz Racing, Cody Cal Company can't put that fucker in the winner's circle. So
Yeah, I'm with you, man. So what are your plans outside of the Outlaw 32 point series? Obviously, there's 3 races in Canada. There's 2 small tire races, one on no prep and one on radio prep. So what's your plan for those outside the point series?
So actually, right now, a lot of people are gonna probably question this decision, especially after such a good start. But I've actually got Eleanor at my shop right now, and I'm putting it on small tires. I will be running it for the first time ever next weekend, the weekend before Virginia.
Oh, Shady
Um,
side.
I won't be doing that, no, sir.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
going to XRP to test. I just
Okay.
can't make that race. But I'm gonna go on 275s out to XRP. Tell them
Oh,
not to prep one lane or prep one. I don't really know if they're doing it because I'm kind of confused. I'm gonna call soon. I can promise you that. But are we doing a no prep small tire? Because that shit, I don't know. We're gonna find out. But if we're doing like a radial prep, then I'm all for it. We're cool. I'll be there regardless. Okay. I'm
hmm
just saying I don't know how Cole's gonna do on no prep because I'm gonna tell Galen just get oil because XRP is so good. I'm gonna tell Galen just get oil and run it down one of the lanes, and I'll send that sucker down through there if that's what we're
yeah,
doing on no prep. But I don't know. So I'm running it though. We're converting it over right now, and I'm pretty much gonna have all the big tire stuff in the trailer. We're gonna test Friday and Saturday next week, and then we're gonna convert it back over Saturday night, Sunday morning, load that sucker up, and go to Virginia. I just, it's $100,000. It's a serious deal.
yeah.
We're not tested for it yet, so we need to get tested for it. We're just gonna try to get some minimal data to have something to build off of. You know what I mean?
Right. For sure.
That's that's the name of the game. I don't like to go anywhere and not be prepared. I can't handle that.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not that
Yeah.
guy.
I got you, man. I
So
got you, man. With 128 cars, 128 cars. That's 7 rounds of racing, man. That's going to be consistency there. That's going to
that's gonna be
get
survival.
past that first round. You know, I don't even know how it's going to be run. I don't know if they're going to do 1 round Friday. I don't know, but it's going to be a lot of strategy too involved to get
Dude,
in
it's gonna be
7 rounds of
awesome.
racing. Yep,
It's gonna be
it's
awesome.
gonna be sweet. So you're gonna do that. So no Canada for you though this year.
We might go to Toronto. Just depends. We're looking
Okay.
into it honestly, but we really don't know yet, just based upon really the schedule, what we're doing. We got a new project we're working on. I've been managing that for the last 3 or 4 months. Some really exciting stuff coming by the end of this year. I can promise you right now. If you don't know who I am, you will by the end of this year. Um, the we got to focus on that project too. We got a lot of work to do. We got to get ready for December. So
Hmm.
we'll just kind of have to play it by ear. If we're top 5 and 10 in speed promotions once it's there, we're more than welcome to play the part. We just got to get together and figure out some kind of agreement or something to go to Canada. It's expensive. It's a long
Yeah.
ways.
Yep.
Chevy though, not gonna lie, he's giving me these ultimatums. He's like, bro, Canadian girls are hot. Number one, which I already know. Number two, he's telling me that they got the merch is cheaper up there and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay. And then his mom, she's been texting me. I didn't tell Chevy I got your mom's number. Not like that, not like that. So, anyways, I got your mom's number. She told me she's gonna make me all kinds of taquitos and
Hey,
everything. So, and she sent me some pictures of them. Said they'll be ready in July or August, whenever that race is over at Brad Tort Raceway. So I might have to go
that might
over
be
there.
worth it right there.
I think it's worth the trip. I think it's worth it for sure. So we'll find out.
Yeah.
But I
Okay.
don't know.
All right.
To answer your question in short term, I have no idea if I'm going to
I
Canada or
got you.
not.
You got a bunch of races yet before that even happens, so you got time
Exactly.
to figure it out.
Yeah.
So after one race now, basically no rules. I read the rule set on Saturday. It was real. Or on Friday. It was real short. The rules. Do you think there should be after one race now? Do you think there should be any added rules, or are you totally down with the outlaw no rules?
No rules. Let's go no rules, man. If we're gonna start it that way, let's finish it that way. The Pro Charter guys got round one. They're up 1-0 right now over the Screw guys, and I don't think anybody saw that coming. I think the track is the equalizer.
It was. Yep.
I think at the same time, you give me a good track, it's
Hmm.
over. So we'll find out. I think speed promotion should keep it the same. Let's see how it goes. Keep it the same. Um, I think if you give us a good track, you're going to be on for a good show between me and Kai. I can promise you that. If we can avoid each other, it'll be a two car links against Kai in the finals for sure. So in
Right.
Virginia, we'll find out. So
Now some of the guys had 2 power adders. Some did not. I don't know if you did or not. Um, is this something that you have considered or will start considering more, seeing that um, Nate has 2 power adders and he did extremely well. After after the race, Scott,
yeah,
who lost to Nate in the finals, was like, "I'm getting nitrous now, added to mine."
he
So is
doesn't have
this something
nitrous.
that? No, he didn't, and he had a
Damn,
smaller blower.
Scott,
He had the smaller blower too.
dude,
So
he
he's
went. Man, that's flexing right there on him.
he
Holy
did.
shit.
Talking to him, it sounded like, not to speak for him, but it sounded like that might be like all he had, and he knows he's got to
Yeah,
get
he
more.
needs some
So
nitrous. Yeah.
so is that has something you and Cody have considered at all, or no?
Man, I've been playing with some nitrous every once in a while. Uh, I don't really know for sure if you should spray a screw. I don't know how much you should spray it. I don't know what'll happen. I don't know if you watch Winter Series. That's not what I was trying. I just couldn't keep the blower on the damn thing. I actually was going to change the logo from on the ejector blades from PJS to PEW. Pew!
Oh yeah,
So we didn't do that just because we're trying to get away from that. Um,
yeah.
but I think the Pew Nationals might come back if I put nitrous on it. Just
Oh,
because I really don't know what's going to happen. You shoot that little blue gas in there. I don't know if it's actually blue because that's what I see on Fast and Furious when they shoot it in the engine. It's blue, so I'm gonna roll with that.
it's got to be.
I think it's blue. You shoot it in there though, and I think it's just gonna absolutely blow everything up. So I'll pass. I'll happily pass. I think I'm just gonna keep the throttle wide open and do 3 or 4 throttle whops is kind of my magic secret. That tells the motor where we're at. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay,
And it
yeah,
lets the opponent know, okay, I whopped it more than you, so automatically before we leave that starting line, I got this much of a gap already. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
So I just throttle whop it. I'm gonna tell you the secret to Cole Pesz racing. Okay, I roll in the whites. I do a long 8th mile burnout because I'm not that intelligent. And then I back up 100 mile an hour and I pull in there. I whop it about 4 or 5 times. And I roll in them whites and I close my eyes and I open my eyes, shoots her out, and I'm there. So that's how we do it.
That's funny shit.
That's how we do it every time. And then, hey, sometimes my wind light comes on, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes I'm pointing at one of the finish line cones, the
Yeah.
wall. I don't know.
Well, you wouldn't. Your eyes are closed. You wouldn't even know if you won or not because you don't see the
That's a
wind
good
light.
point.
So
That's a
yeah,
very good point. You caught me in the lie. Oh.
your crew chief's got to. Your crew chief's got to tell you if you won or not.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny
Cody,
shit.
hell yeah.
All right, Cole. Cole, if you want to take some questions, there's some people in the chat. If you got a question for Cole about anything, post in the chat. We'll look for it. While we're waiting, Cole. So what kind of goals do you have you set out for this season?
Championship. That's all I think about. You know, I think I watched a documentary about Michael Jordan. It's called The Last Dance. I think a lot of people have seen it. And Michael Jordan, his mentality. You know, I pulled so much away from that. I'm a people analyzer. I try to pull from the greatest, and I look at him and I'm like, all he ever thought about was winning. You know, I'm wired the same way. Trust me, my dad will be the first one to tell you. I walk around here and constantly am battling every day to continue to push as hard as I can. And I think a lot of people that don't know me, they assume that I got handed this deal. Dude, I come from the gutter, son. I grind. You know what I mean? I love the grind though. When I'm all sweaty and fucking oil in my hair and I got shit everywhere, that means I'm about to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But no, we come for it every day in and day out. You know, these races are not won at the track only; they're won at the shop.
Yeah.
And if you're afraid of that grind, God's not going to reward you with that win. So I don't care who you are, what your last name is, or how much money you got. Don't matter. If you don't grind, you're not going to win in this deal. So that's what we focus on. Just fucking persistent, stay consistent, and just stay on their ass, dude. Like I'm telling you right now, I'm so fucking dialed in this year. Had 4 races last year to make a name for myself. I made it very quickly. I'm the kind of person, I think, if you apply the pressure, I soak that shit in. I love it. I love the pressure.
Yeah,
Man, the more pressure I can get, if you just come in my door and tell me how much I suck right before I leave the line, I will win every time. Every time.
man.
The pressure is great. So
Yeah, man. I can dig your mentality, dude. I do. It's refreshing to hear that from a youngster like yourself to have that mentality.
am I the youngest
So
one in speed promotions?
I'm saying you are.
Man.
I think Chevy said he was 26. I don't know. I don't know how old Paige is.
Oh,
She's young.
damn. So you old as hell. Damn.
Who? Chevy? Yeah,
Um,
26.
yeah.
Yeah, he's old as
Old
hell.
as hell. Oh, someone asked, what do you think about Disco's new car? Disco's new car is gangster as hell. It is absolutely cool as shit, dude. We were actually,
Yeah.
so me and Cody were going to build one of those. We were actually literally going to do Smokey and the Bandit. We were going to do a pro mod. And
Nice.
Disco released his like 6 weeks later, and it's way cooler than anything I could ever imagine. Uh,
Yeah.
it's just the coolest thing ever, dude. It's really cool. So, and Disco by far, really, I would say Disco. I don't have a lot of friends in speed promotion. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I don't know a lot of them, but I would say Disco and Kai and maybe a handful of others I'm close to. Disco is one of them because my grandmother got very sick. I'm telling this story about Disco not because I'm telling it because people don't realize how good of a guy he actually is. Disco went out of his way to send me a video. My grandmother had a stroke, and all she would talk about, she watches Street Halls, and all she would talk
Mhm.
about in the deal because she had a stroke and she's kind of confused, was she's looking at me and saying, "These nurses suck. If Disco Dean's pit crew was here, then I would be out of here so fast. Those guys are flying, and she's not making any sense. So I'm like sitting there trying to figure out how to turn a shitty situation into a good one. And I'm
Mhm.
like, hey, I flex in front of my grandma. I'm like, I know Disco. And she's like, bullshit. I'm like, no, I swear. So I text him on Facebook and I go, hey, bro, I'll pay you whatever. Like, can you send me a video? Her name's this, and talk to her. And bro, he straight up, I didn't pay him anything. He straight up sent me a video about 2 minutes later, talking to her and
That's
everything.
awesome.
And that moment right there for Disco, that might be the moment when I give him 2 minutes. You know what I'm saying? I'll
Yeah,
give him
yeah.
more, I'll give him more than 2 minutes just because I owe him one. And I owe him for the rest of my life. But Disco's a great guy. So,
That's awesome.
but
I agree.
I love Disco.
Ty Yost had a question. He said, who do you look forward to beating the most?
Absolutely everybody. I don't really have a favorite.
Good answer.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Nate Saylor is one of my favorites to beat, but I can't beat the fucker. So I don't know. Honestly, I like running Paige, but I can't beat her ass either. I think it's like that deal when you just can't get it. It just keeps getting you back in there. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. You want
Um,
more for sure.
yeah, for sure. Kai, I want to fucking beat Kai so bad just because of his fans. Him and Swanstrom's fans. I'm not even gonna get it started. But Jesus, I have the two most brutal fan bases going bang, 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 bang all the
They're
time.
hardcore. Yeah,
Bro, they ain't no joke, man. Hey, I'm gonna tell everybody right now, you ready to mess with them? Because I mess with them all the time. But dude, be ready for it because they are diehard. They
they
don't
are.
give a at all. So,
Oh,
but yeah,
that's
no,
funny.
I want to be Kai. I mean, in my opinion, Kai like Murderno obviously is the champion. Much respect. I think he's fast as hell and he's very consistent. That's what got him the championship, in my opinion, being the most
For sure.
consistent.
Yep.
But I think Kai's the fastest. I think it's between me and Kai, and there's all the reasons to race Kai. You got Noonan, PJS rivalry. You got Jeff
Mhm.
Pierce versus Brandon Pez rivalry. You got the Salemis helping them versus Pez's rivalry. You got all those reasons. These people don't realize that this is pro mod racing. The guys that are making these guys fast now come from my world, and I'm one of the only ones that comes from my world that's in it.
Yeah.
So I'm quickly gonna implement that and put it on their ass.
Yeah. What were your thoughts? Speaking of that world, what were your thoughts about them using the Pro Tree for what I believe is the
Also
first
great.
time ever? I think.
Yes. Dude, I was so grateful. She said pro tree. I was like, because this instant green shit ain't no joke. I ain't gonna lie. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. You're ready, not ready. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna complain about if someone does it to me, but I don't like the guessing shit. I have guessed one time. It was not intentional. It was against Scott Taylor. We're buddies again. Sorry, Scott, about that. Anyways, move on. It was not intentional though. I just got really excited, and honestly, it speaks volumes to how good of a racer Scott Taylor is. He saw what I was doing. It was pretty obvious. When I first started racing, I would always double bulb everybody just because, like, I went to the first race and tried to be respectful, and I ran B-Rad, love him to death. Go up there and he double bulbs me, and I'm like, you fucker. In my world, that's like you know what I'm saying? So in
Yeah.
this deal here, I'm like, all right, fuck it. So I double bulbed everybody. Kai, well, actually, I couldn't do Kai because we sat there and that dude said, I'm not going in. We both ran out of fuel. Like, I don't know how we both didn't just have a spectacular fireworks show in Washington at the very end. Um, but yeah, no, I love the Pro Tree. It makes it easier for me, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
instant
Yeah. It
green
sounded
is
like that might not be a regular thing. They had mentioned like, hey, we're gonna do some different things during the year, and I was actually surprised they did it right away for the first race. So
oh yeah, for sure, for sure.
I know there
I'm
was a lot
excited.
of the bracket. I know a lot of bracket racers were very happy about former bracket racers were very happy about the Pro Tree.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, and it
Yeah.
makes it easier. You take the guessing out of it, but they want the guessing a little bit for sure because it's gonna make it more exciting. It gives somebody
Yeah.
that if they
Of
feel like
course.
they need to roll that dice. How am I gonna fault them for rolling that dice? You're running me,
Right.
or you're running Kai,
Yep.
you're running. Fucking roll the dice. I roll the dice every time I go down the track. Let's roll the dice.
Yep. Um, I'm gonna respond. Larry Hammonds. The races in Canada are not for points. It's its own exhibition races. Sounds like most of the guys are gonna bring their big tire cars, so it should be good racing. So Cole, if people want to follow you on social medias, what are your social media
Pretty much
accounts?
Cole Pesz Racing across the board.
Okay.
Instagram, Facebook. You got Cole Pesz on TikTok, Cole_Pesz on TikTok. And then I have my new YouTube channel. Everybody go check it out. I will be posting my side of the story against Kai and all of his fans that are hating on me. Go click on it, make me some money. Because they hate me anyway, so you might as well
Got it.
fill my bank account. So go check that out. It's not up yet. We're working it out. It'll be up probably within the next 2 days. And we're gonna have a good time with it. And if you want to be around someone that's going to have fun with it, just have a good time with it and work their ass off and watch that grind. I think people will quickly start to realize that I'm very serious about this shit, and I'm a contender, and we're gonna have a good time while doing it. We're very entertaining. We got Cody slamming beers, having a good time all day, talking shit, having fun, and we got King Samson running around humping everybody's legs in the pit.
Yeah.
Anything like you like dogs, we got dogs. We got girls. We got fast race cars. We got it all. So Cody Cow
Sounds
Company,
like
baby. We got
sounds
it
like a
all.
good time.
It's a damn good time every time you walk in that pit, son. And then on the racetrack, it's just a gap. But
Well, hey Cole, I appreciate you coming on, man. I'm glad we got to finally link up. I wish you the best going forward. I won't be at a race now until Bowling Green, but
No,
I'll be
damn.
watching you, man. So good luck in the next few races, and then I will see you in Bowling Green for some small tire action.
Hell yeah, brother. I appreciate everything you do, man. You work your ass off, and we all love you very much for coming out there and fucking staying out in the heat and collecting all the stats. And you got to have some kind of algorithm or something because there's no way someone's brain can fill it with that much knowledge. You got a big head, but there's no way you can pack that much shit in there. I don't care what you say. You can.
I appreciate that, man.
You got something. You're using AI or some shit. No, I'm playing. But
Hey, yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. All right, buddy. You have a good night.
you too, bud.
All right, see ya.
See ya.